Good morning, all. You are most welcome to today's annual Pro Bono week. But as we commence with our program, I would like us to have an opening prayer.
Okay, colleagues, let's humble ourselves as we pray. Father in heaven, we want to bless you for this day. And we want to thank you for bringing all of us here safely. We are going to have our 15th annual Pro Bono Day. And so we want to commit the day in your hands. All the speakers, all the guests, and everyone who is going to contribute today. We want to pray that you may bless them and guide them through. We want to believe that you will take us through. In Jesus' mighty name I pray.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you very much. The DJs help us with the anthems. Members, please, we stand up. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can have our seats. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all, the different distinguished guests, members of the judiciary, the senior lawyers present, the URS Secretariat, members of the bar, as we'll be able to identify each and every individual present today. Our program will run as follows. We intend to have the opening remarks by our Chief Executive Officer, which will be followed by the official opening remarks and objectives of the engagement by our Vice President, URS. We'll have a presentation on the Pro Bono Week report by our head legal and Pro Bono services. We also intend to have a presentation of the keynote speaker who will be introduced to us. We also intend to have a panel discussion of the various distinguished members in regards to our theme of the week, that is redefining criminal justice. We also intend to have a plenary where we'll have questions and answer sessions. So those ones with different questions, please, you can be preparing them. We'll also have remarks from the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, remarks from the guest of honor, and we'll have closing remarks from our Vice President, Uganda Law Society. Then we'll have a group photo, lunch, and then departure. Without wasting a lot of time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite our Chief Executive Officer to give her opening remarks. You're most welcome.
Our guest of honor, the Country Director of International Development Law Organization, IDLO, the Vice President of Uganda Law Society, Mr. Asimwe Anthony, the representative of the Acting Principal Judge, Her Worship Prosi Katusave, the representative of the Director of Public Prosecution, Deputy DPP, Mr. Abiansi, our keynote speaker, Ms. Nora Owagara, the chairperson of Human Rights Commission, who is still on her way here, Mariam Wangadia, the representative of Prison Service, Victoria, who is head legal department, representative from Uganda Police Force, the representative from Uganda Prisons, members of Uganda Law Society present here and online, our representative of the Senior Technical Advisor, that is of JELOS, the technical advisor, that is Mr. Musa Madoi, is still on his way here, development partners, especially IDLO and the Kingdom of Netherlands, who have made it possible that we have Pro Bono Week. The acting director, LDC, that is Mr. Balomo Mayanja, members present and online, civil society organizations, the media, the general public, and all our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. My name is Christina Wori, and I serve as the CEO of Uganda Law Society. It is with gratitude that I take this opportunity to welcome you to this stakeholder engagement of the 15th Annual Pro Bono Week. Today's high-level stakeholder engagement is aimed at not only serving the capstone of the week's activities, but also luring a point deeper reflection and forward planning on the future of our criminal justice. I would like to take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt appreciation to every individual and institution that has made this year's Pro Bono Week a success. First and foremost, I salute the Uganda Law Society Council for its visionary leadership and support in advising the society's mission, values, especially in promoting human rights and rule of law. I also take this opportunity to appreciate our development partners, especially IDLO, the Embassy of Ireland, for all the support, the financial support and technical support. Together with our donors, we continue to enable us to implement programs that are not only impactful, but also transformative of the values of the vulnerable, indigent, and marginalized population across the country. I also appreciate the ULS Secretariat and the ULS staff upcountry across all the clinics for the great work they have done during this Pro Bono Week. They have demonstrated what it means to work with purpose and commitment. I must say that this week we have had voices across the country share aspirations of more efficient justice system, and above all, we have a renewed commitment across both the state and non-state actors to work together to bridge the gaps in the justice system. I also want to extend my congratulations and deep appreciation to all advocates who participated in this year's Pro Bono Week activities. What they didn't show only that they gave us service, but also shows that they sacrificed their time, they worked in solidarity, and they show that Pro Bono is not just sympathy, but they're here to support everybody to make sure we restore hope, dignity, and trust in the rule of law. Our partners across justice sector, the judiciary, jails, ODPP, prisons, Uganda Police Force, and others, thank you for walking this journey with the ULS. Thank you very much for listening. I wish you all a fruitful engagement ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Christine Award, who is our Chief Executive Officer. Council Nanguru Eddie and I will be taking on the obligation of running this session. Council Nanguru Eddie is a representative of the Uganda Law Society in the eastern region of the country. Him, together with other members of the society, we want to thank you for the great work you are doing and ensuring that ULS is vibrant and is a success. Council Edinanguru, I would like you to take the honor to introduce the different guests present.
Thank you, my brother. I'm told that we need to speak at this point here. I hope I don't stand so tall. Good morning. I hope we are well. This is not a serious event for us not to be smiling. Our keynote is one of the best. I want to invite each and every one of you who has spared time, not just today, but who has spared time this week. This has been one of a kind event by the ULS. For those who didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, we had told our soldiers on the ground that this is not the usual Pro Bono week. we must show up for the country, show up for Ugandans, and show up for them wherever they are. Now, even as we shall go on, you're going to follow through and learn what we have done throughout this week here. But I want to extend the utmost thanks to the teams on the ground. Even as we converge here, there are people in this country, there are members of the bar who are at the different clinics supporting members of the public. When we announced Pro Bono Day, we reserved this day as a center-oriented initiative for the different countrywide clinics to receive and support members of the public. So as we speak now, our advocates, our team leaders, our clinic heads are busy supporting, busy consulting. Ours is to take their voices to a higher note. We call it adding voltage. Adding voltage. I've been told to announce the different guests available in their different capacities. My sister, the CEO, has done us justice. She has read out those who are here. I'll not repeat the names. I'll just extend further welcome remarks. And thank you for sparing time for having joined us today. I want to jump to the next item on the agenda. I want to invite our Vice President. Our Vice President is one of our most radical soldiers. He has led us valiantly, diligently, faithfully, aggressively. He is the definition of where there is no way, find a way. No excuses, no explanations, just find a way. And we're arriving at this day because of the kind of guidance he has demonstrated. When we began the Eastern Bar program and the prison outreach, he was there at the forefront. And he would always tell me that, for me, I've done these prison things. I am a master of the art. Follow my lead. And indeed, he led us. He led us well up to the National Bar Prison Engagement. On the first day of this week here, we traversed the majority of the prisons in this country. You're going to hear the data from our our head legal and pro bono. But indeed, the different countryside prisons, for the first time, were able to receive a lawyer, were able to see a lawyer, were able to engage and talk to a lawyer. Many were surprised that lawyers are coming out and engaging with them. So let me not say much. Let me do the single honor of inviting Mr. Asimwe Anthony to share with us the remarks and the objectives of the engagement, his deep thoughts, his experiences, his challenges, and where next for the bar and the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nangulu, for that flattering introduction. You always flatter me a lot, and I do appreciate. Allow me to stand on the protocol as earlier laid out by our Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Christina Ori, and go straight to my official opening of this high-level stakeholder engagement and the Pro Bono Day. And again, also, before I go there, I do welcome, I add my voice and welcome everyone. As you may notice, we have a few members here. This is a small space. You're welcome to the Uganda Law Society House. This is the first time we are holding such an event at our home. And we should clap for that. As you may be aware, outside it might appear like a construction site, but a lot is going on here, and you should feel at home. You're welcome. And in a special way, let me do thank and appreciate members of the bar who are online because of the space and because one of our core values is digital transformation. We conduct most of these events digitally. So the biggest number, I think thousands of them are following online. So we are not here alone. We have members who are following each and every step, especially members of the bar. And I want to believe it's not just for the points, but because of the value we attach to this event. Otherwise, you're welcome, and thank you very much for being here. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to officially open this year's high-level stakeholder engagement. And again, let me state that you see it is the 15th annual Pro Bono Week, 15th annual Pro Bono Day, but it is the first of its kind. This is the first time we are having a high-level stakeholder engagement. It is usually one-sided, where we speak as the members of the bar, we invite other stakeholders and give speeches, talk about the problems, and some people suggest solutions, and we hear from different voices. But for the first time today, we're having a stakeholder engagement, which I want to believe, being the first of its kind, is going to set the pace for where we go after here. After I've heard from the relevant speakers, and we are lucky to have in the room every responsible stakeholder in the criminal justice sector. I think we should clap hands for that. Now, this stakeholder engagement is organized under the theme, Redefining Criminal Justice. On behalf of the Uganda Law Society, I do extend a heartfelt appreciation to you all who have taken the time to be here today, and most importantly, to those who have contributed immensely to the activities of Pro Bono Week 2025. This event, today's event, marks the culmination of a week in which we have witnessed the very best of our justice sector, from prison visits to police visits to awareness sessions in markets, on radio, TV, and related campaigns across the country. Everywhere we have membership, everywhere we have representation, we've had members of the bar actively engage and sacrifice and put aside this week to contribute something to society, to do something for the good of the public. And we do not take that for granted. That is why I do thank the members of the bar who welcomed this initiative, and we're out, as we shall see later in the presentation. You'll see how active the members of the bar, the lawyers, moved from their offices and went down to meet the most needy person where they are. That's what we call bringing justice closer to the people. We do not call them to come to us. We find them where they are. Allow me to express special gratitude to the International Development Law Organization, IDLO, and the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, who have been our main partners and supporters of this 15th annual Pro Bono Week, whose generous backing, I think we need to have a bigger hand clap for that, please. Now, that generous backing has made it possible to bring legal services closer to the people, particularly the vulnerable and marginalized groups who often fall through the cracks of the formal justice system. As we shall see later, you'll notice that the services we offer, the pro bono, the legal aid, is extensively donor funded. Even events like this, what we're having right now, we may not have the capacity to put together all the resources and have this happen. We've been seeing people move across the country, whereas members of the bar are willing to offer free service. There are certain resources that are required to make that possible. And why I want to, again in a special way, thank IDLO is when we reached out, they were quick to respond. We did not have a red tape of, let's talk the other week, let's talk tomorrow, you wait, let's consult. It was a no-brainer, and we don't take this for granted. I remember, I think a few months ago, the Secretariat was even asking that, VP, now we know you're the chairperson, Legal Aid and Pro Bono Committee, are we going to have Pro Bono Week this year? Because usually we have a donor where there's a budget line for Pro Bono Week and Pro Bono Day, but we had none. We didn't have any for this year. since we had interruptions before from the donor world. We've not had, so there was no budget in our annual plan for Pro Bono Week. But I told them, listen, let's try our best. I kept telling them we shall have the Pro Bono Week, and they were laughing because they saw no plan. So I'm so really deeply honored, and with gratitude, we thank the partners for coming out and supporting this. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. And they also mentioned this again, it was on short notice. We just came out radical and said, this is court vacation, we must have this event, where our members have no excuses of saying we are going to court, we have other work. We said, let's dedicate this week. Thank you very much. To all our other donors and partners, especially those represented here and those following us, thank you very much for always supporting the cause for promotion of access to justice and rule of law. Legal aid provision would not be strongly sustainable without your contributions and partnership. I don't want to water down the discussions of our very eloquent Dr. Sylvia Namuiru. I know she's passionate about legal aid service provision. The journey we've walked, the struggles we've gone through, and the challenges we are facing. I'm sure she will ably deliberate on that, but we do thank the donor community, the partners, the development partners for making this possible. Now, for the benefit of the members who are following, those who are not members of the bar, we have new members of the bar, the development partners, and other members of the public who are following us. The Uganda Law Society is a National Bar Association of Uganda, established by the Uganda Law Society Act of 1956, Cap 305 of Uganda. And the National Bar has a statutory mandate because it is established by statute. The society derives its mandate from Section 3 of the Uganda Law Society Act, which lays out the core objectives of the society. And these include maintaining and improving the standards and conduct of learning of the legal profession in Uganda, facilitating the government and the courts in all matters affecting legislation and the administration of practice of law in Uganda, representing, protecting, and assisting members of the legal profession, and most importantly, I bring this out last, most importantly, protecting and assisting the public in all matters touching, auxiliary or incidental to the law. Now, these statutory objectives form the foundation of the Law Society's work in promoting the rule of law, enhancing access to justice, and supporting the professional development of advocates across Uganda. Today, our society has grown into a vibrant community of over 6,000 active advocates. I think we should clap for that as well. And what we do, even under the current leadership, we keep emphasizing that we keep on track. You've heard of words like back on track, to ensure that members appreciate our statutory mandate, and in whatever we do, we focus on our statutory mandate so that we don't get out of line. Because it is our duty, it is our role as members of the bar to execute this mandate, to make sure we stay in line and we give back to society exactly within the law. That is why you see so many initiatives that are aimed at least fulfilling each part of that statutory mandates I've listed above. And it is within this legal and institutional framework that the Legal Aid Project of the Uganda Law Society was established in 1992. Now this is its 33rd year of implementation. And the Legal Aid Project is the Society's flagship program dedicated to providing free legal services to indigent, marginalized, and the vulnerable populations across Uganda. Now, this project provides direct legal representation, legal counseling to various members of the public, alternative dispute resolution. Judiciary has been calling out for ADR. I think the Legal Aid Project was one of the initial people to promote ADR and to focus on ADR because we believe there are so many ways of resolving these disputes without necessarily going to court. Legal advice and referrals to other service providers and stakeholders. Importantly, I will emphasize this, the legal aid project solely relies on donor funding to operate, which makes its sustainability a matter of concern, especially with the ever-increasing high demand for legal aid services. A bit of the statistics, according to the 2024 Justice Needs and Satisfaction Survey by Hill, 95% of Ugandans experience at least one legal problem each year. Yet only 10% are able to access or afford a lawyer, with the rate falling to just 4% among those with no more than primary education or those unable to meet basic needs. Earlier I talked about the 6,000 members. Ordinarily, it's not like these members go out to, study law, come into practice, to simply, offer free legal services. It is a source of living for the members, for the lawyers. That is where they earn. In fact, the most important thing for any lawyer is the fees, the billing, because that is how we survive as lawyers. But with such glaring numbers and figures, and considering our statutory obligation, it makes us reflect as the bar, as the members of the society. What can we contribute, or how can we be of help to the public to resolve this problem? Because being a lawyer, we feel should not just be a privilege. Some of the few out of the 45 million, if you have only 6,000 people are privileged to be members, then we feel we need to offer a service to other members of the society. Because if this is where we focus, this is where our bread is. But where our bread is, we are saying that only 10%, actually now 4% of them can actually afford to give us bread. Then it's an issue for us to reflect and see what we can change. The current government legal aid efforts are limited to capital offenders through state brief. And even then, this is only at a stage where the cases are cause-listed. Now, when we talk about the Constitution and the right to a fair hearing, a right to legal representation, right now the legal, the legislation we have, according to the provision the government is able to give, it's only the state briefs you see and for capital cases. Interestingly, when you talk of access to a lawyer or a right for legal representation, it should actually begin at the time the person is arrested. Now, people are arrested. The system, it's at the tail end when someone is appearing in court. Sometimes someone has been there for 4 years, 2 years. The investigations are complete. The time they made their statement, they were not guided, they were not given guidance. And this state-funded, the legal representation at the expense of the state only comes when this file has reached, there's a session set. You're going to appear before a judge. You've been in the system. And that's when the lawyer is coming in. So the question is this really what it should be? Is this the quality legal representation that is envisaged under the Constitution? And this system basically excludes the vast majority of justice seekers and highlights the urgency for meaningful reform and sustainable support to legal aid initiatives. We must rethink as a country, not just only the stakeholders here. We must go back and read the Constitution and see what is really fit for our generation and what is required. In 2016, the Legal Aid Bill was introduced in Parliament to establish a national legal aid framework and create a sustainable structure for legal aid provision. However, progress on this bill has stalled, and nearly a decade later, the legislation remains unpassed. It has had a back and forth. I know there are people in this room who can tell a better story of that legal aid bill. I'll still refer to Dr. Sylvia. She's been at the forefront of pushing for this. And it again leaves the question, where are our priorities as a country? And what is our role, people in this room and those following? What role can we play in ensuring that this is made a reality? Or how can we make the people that have the power to do this realize the importance of this law, realize the inefficiencies we have and the injustices people are suffering and the results of these injustices, to make them realize the importance and the urgency of this law. You're aware that once a bill is tabled before Parliament, be it an amendment bill, if there's one that there's this political will and needed by the people that need it, it will be passed at lightning speed. So I'm wondering why the legal aid